Welcome into the latest episode of Betting the Pitch European Soccer Edition. Tonight we are going through the Champions League, UEFA Champions League quarterfinals. We're starting with leg one. We'll go through two advanced numbers, also the leg one best bets, which I'll combine end of show into an ultimate best bet. Just let me get a tweet out so people know that we are live, and then we'll just have to get into it. But we got four sets of matches coming off twice, and looking forward to going through this and trying to find some more winners. We have had a great start to the season, 37 15, 71% on the ultimate best bets, though I will say I've been in the land of college basketball, including attending the Final Four this weekend in San Antonio. Awesome time, awesome games, and the final did not disappoint tonight either. Amazing the amount of collapses from teams leading. Also across the NIT as well. It feels like tournament basketball means if you ever get out to a lead first, you should probably just be coming from behind and trailing the whole time. In a soccer world, it's a very different game, much less scoring. So you want to score first, and that is the most important thing. And we will get there in just 1 second. I want to make sure my tweet went out, and then we'll start this baby right up. And it looks like it did. So let's get into it. So, on this episode, we're going to go through the Champions League. Each leg, I do have the quote feature up. If you want to throw something in here, if you're joining live, I appreciate it. It is rather late at night, though not as late as we've recorded ever on the Betting the Pitch Podcast Network. But I'm trying to get some sleep. That's the new goal as now that college basketball is done for the season. Hopefully you had a good time with that. Biggie Spend and I on the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast, and we'll be back next season. So we're going to start in Champions League on, let me make sure my iPad actually is open. That would be nice. Come on, open, open. Come on. All right, we'll start as I try to wear a piece of team gear for whoever's playing. And if you're watching live on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that's actually impossible. If you're watching live on YouTube, that's a place you could watch live at the real underscore G Warner. If you're watching the video version on YouTube, I guess after the fact, you could do that too. But also available on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Just search Betting the Pitch and hit subscribe, leave a 5-star review, some sort of comment in there, and I will have it read or I will read it if it's relevant to just a sport that I cover. And then, we'll just go even deeper into this whole thing. But I feel like I might as well check right now to see if there's anything out there. But I'll read end of show if I find anything. But we'll start with Bayern Munchen, a half a goal favorite to Inter Milan, as I am clothed in an Inter garment, though I guess I do have a Bayern Munchen shirt as well. But anyway, we're here. We're wearing Inter stuff, and I'm a believer in Inter. I feel like they're the best club in um, in Italy. Not a lot of comments, but I feel like we're getting a lot more ratings. Thank you for that. Even the 1 stars don't like you, but everyone else, ooh, a 3-star in there too. Dang. Um, Feels like our ratings have been okay though. 27 ratings. Would love to have 400 million, 27, but we're not there yet. Anyway, 27 is my favorite number, so maybe we'll stick there. So we'll start Bayern Munich half a goal favorites right now. More juice on the Inter side. Totals 2.5. Juice pretty heavily to under right now. We have two teams that play the direct opposite way, especially in this competition, Champions League, where Inter Milan didn't concede a goal for a long, long time in the 8-match qualifying phase, or league phase as they called it. Bayern Munich on the other side, they try to outscore everyone, and that is the first battle line or line of demarcation, I expect. Bayern want to score goals, especially in their own home building. Inter Milan want to restrict, and I'm forever a believer in the team that wants to either slow the pace in college basketball, as you've listened to me across March Madness and an entire 6-month season. Well, we're in a longer one in the soccer world, of course. But I still believe that whoever wants to take the pace out of a game has a much better chance of controlling things. Now, if they are trying to slow the game to a snail's pace and they cannot, that is a huge problem and means Inter are in big, big trouble. However, I do think Inter's offense is way better than a lot give it credit for. But I do think that the total at 2.5 is suggesting that Inter get their style and they're going to go on the road and just try to nullify. We've seen that work on the road at Manchester City before. It happened and worked really well in the Champions League final against Manchester City, which should have been a win, if not for a pretty fortunate Rodri goal, in my opinion. But this is a different test because it's not a neutral site. It's at Bayern, and that's a tough place to go. One of the toughest in the world, toughest in Germany, for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, But at the same time, I feel like there's plenty more to. I actually do have a comment to read, and I will get on that in a second. But I think the just from an Inter perspective, they want to control the game. Bayern München, I don't think are really happy with that, and they're going to be fighting to try to force Inter to play their style. But I just think Inter are stronger. They've got more continuity. Their manager's been in the seat, hot seat though it is certainly hot, but it's been in that seat for a long time. They are focused on winning Serie A in Italy, which is I think less. Excuse me, more competitive than what Bayern München's dealing with in the German Bundesliga, but still, ultimately, Champions League is a huge, huge competition, and I think it's very important for this type of thing. So, Inter as a half a goal underdog, I'm very interested in. I also like the under 2.5 because I think they are able to dictate the pace, as I've just talked about for a little while. Hopefully, not ad nauseum. And then I'll move to look toward the two advanced number to move on to the semifinals, and we see Bayern München minus 150. So 150 US will win you 100. Coming back on the Inter side, 100 wins you 122. And certainly when you have the first leg at home, that's a big advantage in that first leg, though. And unfortunately, when you have to go on the road for the second, that's a big problem. So to me, I think there's a lot of value in the underdog here. Probably not really surprising to anyone because I'm literally giving as much information about. And this whole time I've been talking that I believe in the underdog being able to dictate pace, which is a huge deal. It does make Inter as only a half of a goal underdog a little bit. I mean, it's not a big price. Certainly, there's plenty of respect for Inter, even as a half of a goal underdog, which they're never underdogs in Italy or in Serie A. But um, I think that there's some value in Inter. I think there's value in the under 2.5, and I think I like the two advanced number most. Though that is certainly a longer term thing, and I understand people don't really want to tie money up for multiple weeks. But I just feel like the underdog's in a really great position here. So give me the half of a goal, give me the under 2.5, and I'll lean to plus 122 to advance, all on the Inter Milan side. We'll move to same match kickoff times because they got to play them right against each other. Would rather have them stagger it, but I guess that's not how to do it. You want to give the I guess the 9 p.m. local time in Europe, where depending on where they are, because they do definitely have different time zones. But I've had this fret before and hasn't gone anywhere, so forget it. Arsenal half a goal favorite at home. All the juice on Real Madrid away. Totals 2.25. Juice all the way to over. So Arsenal, I mean they unfortunately lost Gabriel Magalhaes, their center back, to a season-ending injury right as they got Bukayo Saka back, which is really sad. But also is a product of well, Gabriel playing for Brazil in the international break recently, but then also Arsenal just refusing to rotate, maybe not having enough depth, but I think that's a Mikel Arteta problem, and it's something you should have figured out by now. But the players are always going down, and there's a reason for that. It's because he doesn't rotate, which is great for FPL if you're a fantasy Premier League player. Pretty good to know that you're going to get a really good performance out of them in every competition they play in, but it just doesn't work, and you can't keep guys that healthy and healthy enough. They get injured, not even playing banged up. They just actually get hurt and miss a lot of time. And there needs to be a lot of things fixed there. Now, Real Madrid have had a very rocky season. They're in a big fight in Spain for the La Liga title, and it's a three-way fight, so that's even more difficult, which I think really will make Real Madrid just focus on themselves, which might be better. But honestly, the Kylian Mbappe signing has been very difficult. It hasn't worked as well as anyone would expect because pretty much everyone thought, well, Real Madrid, they can win Champions League, they can win Spain, and they get the best player in the world. The sky is the limit, or it's not even a limit. But ultimately, Real Madrid, they unfortunately found that the ceiling is a roof, as Michael Jordan famously once said here in the United States in college basketball and in North Carolina, but Chapel Hill specifically. But Real Madrid have struggled because there's only one ball on the pitch, and Vinny Jr., their star left winger, plays the same position as Kylian Mbappe's best. Hasn't worked very well for them, but this is a competition where I think it really doesn't matter if it hasn't worked because they're still alive and they're on the way to Arsenal. They survived a penalty shootout on the road at Atletico Madrid thanks to I think it was Julian Alvarez kicking the ball off his standing leg, which was still went in the net somehow, but was deemed illegal or I guess rejected. Um, and that's disappointing, but it's ultimately one of those things where um, Real Madrid are here and they survive in this competition. It's their best competition and it's what they're best at. So going to an Arsenal side who've been really great in Champions League all season, have fallen off the pace in the English Premier League, but I'm sure a Champions League title would feel pretty good to give some solace to not winning the Premier League. But at this point, I think this is a really tough matchup for him. Missing another really key piece. Bukayo Saka, we'll see how much he plays. I can't imagine it's going to be more than 60 minutes. So, and probably is someone that you should wean back in the team rather than putting in right away, especially in such a difficult situation here where 2 week injury or something like that, you miss him for the second leg. I think Arsenal are a very, very vulnerable favorite. So, give me Real Madrid. I like that half of a goal. I also like under 2.25 because I think that Arsenal are really great at possessing the ball, dominating games, and I don't think that Real Madrid will be opposed to that away from home. I think if they can get a 0-0 or even a 1-0 loss to Arsenal, I think that is a good result for Real Madrid. I'm not sure that'll happen, but I think that all kind of points to Real Madrid kind of playing possum and just trying to stay in this match, stay in this tie, and then overwhelm Arsenal when they get the Bernabeu in Madrid. So lean to the underdog, lean to the under, and honestly, for the two advanced number, it's really weird to see how different these are. So Arsenal plus 138 to advance, and Real Madrid minus 170. So 170 US will win you 100 on Real Madrid to advance, and 100 will win you 138 on Arsenal. And that's completely different where Bayern's a half of a goal favorite at home, just like Arsenal, maybe a little bit more expensive, but they're a minus 150 favorite. So 2 to 3 odds. It's just, to me, there's no faith in Arsenal here with their second leg away, and there shouldn't be that much faith. I mean, it's really just telling that the odds makers either have a huge position that they're trying to balance out to get off of some leverage on Bayern München by, I guess, welcoming Inter Milan to advance number here or money here, or they, I guess, might believe that the first leg might be so lopsided that Inter are going to have a big deficit when they go away, or excuse me, when Bayern München go away to Milan. I just don't really see that happening. So I don't. I'm not as interested in. I guess if you want to take a position on Arsenal to win this first leg, then plus 138 would look really good. But even then, I don't know if even if a single goal advantage on aggregate heading to Real Madrid because you are certainly an underdog, not a huge one, but an underdog in a shootout. Definitely an underdog on the road in extra time if you're tied, and things could get really bad on the road. So. Less interest for me there on the two advanced number, but definitely the first game. I like everything that there could be involved with Inter Milan. So I'll move now to let's see to Wednesday. I gotta actually for the ultimate best bet portion of the show, I combine all the leagues I cover, which in this what we're doing for Champions League and what we've done all season is just combining the days. And we are certainly whittling down the opportunities and who to pick. But the options here to me are sides and totals. I don't really go to advanced numbers. So I like both underdogs and I like both unders. I think the weakest favorite to me is Arsenal, though they are at home and England certainly has a belief in its soccer clubs, or at least the betting market does, and they generally are overvalued. And I think that all kind of points to the Real Madrid side. With that said, I think there's a good chance that there's a very, very low scoring match in London, and certainly don't feel that comfortable about any match that's going on in Munich. So I'm going to go Real Madrid as a half of a goal underdog, but I'm definitely considering the under there as a possibility for a best bet. But there's a lot to like, I think, on this Tuesday card. Move to Wednesday. Before we get there, want to, I guess, read a comment most recently. One of my longtime subscribers, soy underscore dinero, would be much more useful podcast if released 24 hours earlier in time to bet the action. I guess that is relevant because I mean most of my soccer pods I try to like rush them in on Fridays before Friday kickoffs, but that's been so hard to do. Um, what I think I think they're referring to is that I need to probably do a better job of getting stuff out. I'm literally like, I don't know where people have the time to do all these things when I'm covering all these sports. So, in general, I try to get them out the night before I go to sleep. I realize that might not fit everyone's time horizon, but it's usually out there, definitely not 24 hours, but I could look into try to do this a little bit earlier, maybe, I guess just have big podcast nights because when I'm doing things for pregame.com, like we have Major League Baseball scheduled with Munaf Manji recording what would be every Monday night if he didn't go to the national title game tonight, but every Monday and Thursday night. So maybe I can look into do it on Thursday nights and hopefully get you to leave a 5-star review. That would be very helpful instead of the current 3. But I guess that definitely got some attention. So hopefully that'll be better for you in the future. So move to Wednesday. We'll start with Barcelona, 1.5 goal favorites to Borussia Dortmund. Total is 3.5, juiced all the way to under, and the juice is split on the side. So not really an indicator of which direction it will move. Let's see if there are. Hmm. Uh, Too advanced number, I guess I'll just address it right away. Borussia Dortmund plus 360, Barcelona minus 500. So 1-5 or 5-1 on. That is a very, very respectful number for Barcelona, which to me, I think is a difficult thing to explain because I just don't trust their offense at all. Borussia Dortmund have been awesome in this competition, not so good in the German Bundesliga, but we're talking Champions League here. And this is a gigantic price. Yes, Borussia Dortmund have not been good away from home, really in all places, but I think they've been a lot better away from home in the Champions League, surprisingly, than in the German Bundesliga. And this is a big number where I think Borussia Dortmund, they've shown a defensive solidity, I think, in continental play like Champions League because they don't have to win every match. And I think when they feel the pressure of having to win every match, they just have to go and push so many bodies forward. And I think that other German Bundesliga sides have learned how to pounce on that or how to protect as much as they can and then spring counterattacks. Doesn't always work, and that's where Borussia Dortmund are able to win. But ultimately, I just like that is the way Barcelona play, though, always. So they're always under threat of a counterattack. Borussia Dortmund certainly have the speed and ability to do that. Karim Adeyemi definitely sticks out, plenty of others as well. Um, and so for me, I think this is going to be a closer match than this. The problem is, I don't know that I really enjoy playing underdogs or have had a great track record of playing underdogs if I don't like unders as well, because they correlate low scoring matches, hard for favorites to cover in general. And certainly a total above 3 definitely makes me want to lean under, but I think it's that high for a reason because Barcelona score a ton of goals. They don't really defend very well. And you could probably say the same thing about Dortmund, though ultimately their goals have been a little bit drier this season. I'll lean to Dortmund as a 1.5 goal underdog away, but I don't know that I want more than that. And we'll move to the last matchup as there's only 4 in the quarterfinals, only 8 teams. But we'll start with PSG, a 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice at home to Aston Villa. Total is 3, juiced all the way to over. So PSG surprisingly knocked out Liverpool to get to the stage. They're dominant in France as always, but I think more dominant this season, even though Kylian Mbappe has left. Aston Villa has been not getting a ton of respect in the Premier League market. Honestly, I think a lot because they've been balancing competitions. The FA Cup, this one, of course, this one probably a little bit more prioritized, but the FA Cup means a lot in England for sure, as the bigger of the 2 cup competitions. I think only league that offers 2. Um, but PSG, I mean, they're an incredible team. They've been dominating teams at home, and they score a ton of goals. Plus, what I think has been most impressive to me is this year PSG have been dominating other teams from France, the best ones that they play. I feel like there's always a question of motivation with PSG, especially in Ligue 1. And honestly, it's really kind of come to a head a lot with the weaker clubs in France that are hanging on for relegation. But PSG against the Marseilles of the world, all the really big, or I guess, yawns, late night with real underscore G Warner is back. The yawns are here. But just really, when PSG plays a good team in France, they've been killing them, especially at home. Aston Villa, to me, are, of course, a much better level, much bigger budget than any other clubs, sort of competing with PSG in the Farmers League. But at this point, I think Aston Villa, they've shown enough defensively, and I trust Unai Emery, former manager of PSG, might mean a little bit more to him, but I can't imagine it does. He said, been on record saying the Premier League's the most important thing. I'm not so sure. I think they're trying to get as far as they can in every competition, and that does certainly make me wonder what lineups will look like, especially surrounding these matches. But I think Aston Villa is going to go into PSG and try to keep this as low scoring as possible. I like getting more than a goal, and it looks like we might get to a goal and a half. And I don't think there's that big of a difference between these 2 clubs. But I think I'd be more interested to back PSG on the road at Aston Villa in Birmingham than I would um, Aston Villa here. Though at the same time, PSG look like they'll be a favorite in Birmingham, which is crazy, even if they can't take their trash out with big strikes and things like that, and 18 million pounds of trash on the roads or something like that, which sounds disgusting, but happens. I just don't know necessarily. I feel like there's I'm kind of surprised. I expected the Premier League market and all the English money that gets bet to have eaten through Aston Villa, but seeing 1.25 goal underdogs is gigantic. And so I'm interested there. I'm interested in under three. Certainly, PSG want to possess the ball and control games that way. And that is a very, very scary thing to give those talented offensive players the ability to kind of create and do what they want. But I trust in Emery's defense. He's done well in competitions like this as an underdog before. We think of Villarreal blanking a goalless draw to Manchester United in some faraway land, Budapest for something even more remote in a Europa League final. And I think we see a similar game plan. Aston Villa certainly has the talent to score goals, which could put that under three in a little bit of a threat, but total's also all the way juiced to over three right now. We might see 3.25 before kickoff. And then I'll get to the two advanced number. PSG, as I already said, 1-5 or 5-1 on. Aston Villa plus 360. I love Aston Villa being at home at that big of a price. It's really hard for me to stay away from, I must admit. So we're coming to the end of the show. Fortunately, it's briefer than always, and hopefully gets out to you, Soy De Niro, and others as quickly as possible, so you have as much time to use it. I think there's definitely more interested in the PSG Aston Villa game. There's certainly some threat there, definitely. But at this point, I think that PSG. I mean, they probably want a lopsided win in the first matchup so they can go and be a little bit more protected. But I wonder if their success against Liverpool makes them not as desperate and maybe late in a match are trying to hold on to a lead rather than make it two with the risk of it falling down to a single goal advantage or actually in that example, equalizing and then them having to go advance on the road without any sort of cushion. So, I'll go with the PSG Aston Villa. I'll go under three as my biggest interest in that one, though I certainly wouldn't jump on that now. It's good to get plus money, of course. Makes the year to date seem a lot better or less harder to hit to profitability. But I think the answer is waiting and seeing if this hits a plus 3.25, or just make sure you don't lose three because it's an important number to say the least. Want to, I guess, address other podcasts I'm going to be on. So Munaf Manji and I were going to be doing Tuesday night this week, as it's I guess one of the few times we do that during the season. I think trying to set up a cadence Monday nights for Tuesday cards, Major League Baseball, and then Thursday nights for the Friday card as well to get the weekend started. And hopefully that's a better listening time for a lot of you. And then we'll still be doing soccer podcasts. We'll try to see if I can work that in for Soy De Niro a little bit. Thank you for the comment. Wish you would have given a 5-star review, but I'll take 3. And then I think I will try to maybe work on the dates to then cover the whole card, or maybe get into it a little bit early on a Friday, or however that works. It'd certainly be a lot easier without the demanding college basketball Saturday slates, that's for sure. Baseball, of course, is here. We do have plans in place at A Brooks Bets. We did college basketball last year. Good chance we do that again. Excuse me, we did baseball last year. Good chance we do that again starting, I think, in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that, especially as we get into summer and there's a lot less competition for eyeballs in the sports betting space, but there's still demand for it. Let us know. And of course, leave a 5-star review. Would be better than a 3, but leave a 5 and let us know if there's anything more that we can do for you. There's an F1 podcast I'm recording weekly with Roscoe's Poop Scoop on Twitter, an F1 fan that reached out to me, and we're getting something going there. So I know that interested one Joe Dollar, but what podcast doesn't at this point? I just know he wants to bet overs, and it's still not my game, but maybe someday. And that's probably all the shout outs I got. But thank you for all the Patreon subscribers that came in for the NCAA tournament, and those of you that are sticking with us. And hopefully we will get some bang for your buck, and maybe give you some possible winners down the stretch. So thanks for coming in. And I don't see any comments, so I think it is time for the ultimate best bet. Once I shoot, I should have tweeted this out or retweeted this, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. Let's see. That's okay. Reposted. Done. All right. Well, now if people want to join live, they might get a few seconds. Okay. So it's time for the ultimate best bet. So let's get into it. Hey, this is Real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. This is the ultimate best bet from the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. We went through Champions League, the quarterfinal first legs, also discussed some two advanced numbers. We're 37-15, 71% year to date. trying to improve upon that record. What I basically do is I cover as many leagues as possible. In this case, just 2 days of Champions League. But I put my favorite best bet from Tuesday in, my favorite from Wednesday. I smash them together, pick my favorite, and that's how you grade this episode. That's how we reached a 37, 15, 71% year to date. From Tuesday, like Real Madrid, a half of a goal underdog at Arsenal. On Wednesday, like Aston Villa visiting PSG under 3 goals. But for the ultimate best bet on this episode, 37, 15, 71% year to date. I'm going with Real Madrid, a half of a goal underdog on the road at Arsenal. I think there's a good chance that Arsenal are a little bit discombobulated with one of their stalwart defenders out for the season. And I just don't think Arsenal have what it takes to score goals against Real Madrid side that live for Champions League. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you on the next version of whatever episode we're doing. It should be baseball tomorrow night, Tuesday, for the Wednesday card. And then look forward to that kind of slot being used for the baseball podcast on this Betting the Pitch podcast network with that A Brooks Bets. So Mondays and Thursday nights, expect pregame.com, at pregame now on Twitter, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search already Bill stream preview. That'll be Major League Baseball for the pregame.com network. Tuesday nights covering the Wednesday card is the plan for A Brooks Bets and I. I think F1 will probably be Thursday nights or Friday nights before qualifying. And then, of course, Soccer Podcast. I will try to get more out sooner than later for you, Sordinero. Thanks for the comment, and I hope that you will change that to a 5-star review now that I have responded. Other than that, have a great evening. Hope you all enjoyed the entire NCAA tournament. I think I finished third and fourth in every bracket I was in, so I'm sure just outside the money whenever I wanted it to be. But we'll be back next year, and hope everyone had a great time, and would love to see any of you in Indianapolis for the Final Four next season.